Shifting gears now. This week, the Hero World Challenge, unofficial PGA Tour event played annually, returns to beautiful Albany in the Bahamas for the 9th consecutive time. 15-time major champ Tiger Woods plays tournament host. And again, we'll carry his presser live at 9 a.m. Eastern time on Golf Today. That's tomorrow. Last year, well, Scottie Scheffler, who closed out 2023 in style, winning Tiger's event after finishing runner-up to Victor Hovland the previous couple of years. In 12 rounds played at the Hero, Scheffler has never shot over par. Set the table for an incredible 2024 for Scottie. Some of the notables in the field, strong field, 20 players: Ludwig Oberg, Wyndham Clark, Patrick Cantlay, Sahith Theegala, Keegan, Captain Keegan, Russell Henley, Bobby McIntyre, Sam Burns, and what a nice year Aaron Rai had from England as well. And again, tournament host Tiger Woods not competing this week. He continues to recover from micro-decompression surgery of the lumbar spine for a nerve impingement in the lower back last September. However, he is scheduled to meet with the media at 9 a.m. Eastern on Tuesday. We'll have his press conference right here on Golf Channel. Let's continue the conversation with a Golf Today roundtable. Welcome in our colleague Todd Lewis, who is down in the Bahamas, and GolfDigest.com contributor Shane Ryan. Great to see you both. T-Lou, usually this week we're talking about Tiger and want to hear about his playing schedule. I'm curious, in your mind, how much is it incumbent on Tiger to kind of talk about this moment in golf and how he sees professional golf in 2025 moving forward vis-a-vis these new policy board changes on the PGA Tour?
Yeah, I think that's going to be a primary question, no doubt about it, Damon, and the fact that he is on the PGA Tour policy board, and that board approved the changes for the tour moving forward with smaller fields and smaller exemptions from 125 to 100. I'd like to know if indeed he was a yes vote on this, which I'm assuming he was, and secondly, why he feels like it was important to reduce fields and also to reduce the number of cards for the upcoming year from 125 to 100. I absolutely want to hear his thought process on that and get what we can from him in regards to the negotiations that are continuing between the PGA Tour and PGA Tour Enterprises and the Public Investment Fund of Saudi Arabia, because he is on that transaction subcommittee that sits at the table across from the Saudis to try to get this deal together. We're hearing a lot of reports that momentum is building. I don't think he's going to give you a lot in regards to details, but he can give you a temperature, and I think that's very important.
Shane, your backdrop is not nearly as tropical as T-Lou's, but I'm curious, if you were in that press conference tomorrow with Tiger, what's one question you'd want to ask him and why?
Well, to be fair, Ryan, I do have tropical flowers behind me that my 6-year-old drew. So
they're beautiful.
Yeah, it's not the beautiful ferns Todd has. But no, I think, look, the one question we all want, I agree with Todd, it feels like the rumblings are that we're going to know some really big news soon of one kind or another. So, his own, playing, we'll figure that out eventually. He'll play when he can play. I want to know about the PGA Tour PIF deal. So I would say, tell us what you know, please. And I would, we'll get scraps probably. But I think to Todd's point, you're going to be able to tell from his response, there will be some implications of what's going to happen there. I don't think we're getting anything direct, but we will get the sort of, motion of the ocean or whatever. We'll figure something out from his tone.
Todd, as it relates to the field this week at the Hero World Challenge, just 3 of the top 10 players in the official World Golf ranking are teeing up this week in the Bahamas. Do you think that this is a one-year issue, or do you think it's sort of emblematic of a larger schedule crunch for the top players in the world?
That's a great question, right? I feel like there has been I think there has been some importance for these players. Look for Scottie Scheffler, example. I mean, Scotty's coming off a career year. He's won 8 times if you count the Olympic gold medal in 2024, but he hasn't played since. I mean, this is the first time we're going to see him playing competitively since he was holding the FedEx Cup. Now, you look at what he did last year. Actually, not last year, but the previous 2 years as well. He nearly won this tournament and finally did last year. And what did that do for him? It built momentum for him to go into 2024 and ultimately, again, win the Players, win the Masters, win all those signature events, and win the FedEx Cup. So, yes, this could be a momentum builder for Scottie Scheffler. And you can even go back to the year prior to Scottie winning. Victor Hovland came here to the Bahamas and built some momentum, and ultimately he won the FedEx Cup. This could be coincidence or maybe not. So I think this is a good opportunity for the players that are in the field, from number 1, Scottie Scheffler, to number 37 in the world, in Cameron Young, to try to get some momentum in 2024 on what is kind of a challenging golf course with lots of wind, and it's going to be a really tricky golf course around the greens. It's one of the toughest golf courses, if not the toughest golf course in regards to short game. So, yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to see who's playing well heading into next year.
Shane, speaking of the field, one person not in the field who's played the hero in the past, Bryson DeChambeau. Are there things that PGA Tour players can learn from him in terms of his social media magnetism? I have 3 boys who live on YouTube. Is it incumbent on the PGA Tour players to get hip with the times and create some content a la Bryson?
Yeah, I mean, I just think the whole trajectory of Bryson is amazing because, like you said, like your kids are completely in love with it. There's a lot of kids doing it. I saw a copycat video yesterday with some little kid who made a hole-in-one over his house. So it's great. He's really engaging people. But I remember 3 years ago when he was getting heckled at tournaments, nobody seemed to like him before he went to live. I mean, I was there when it was true misery for him even to be out in the course. And he didn't seem like he was in a very happy place. So not only, I think for your personal brand, if you can create this engaging YouTube content, it's definitely good as a golfer. And I think people should look to him from a marketing PR stance, too, of in such a short time, how did he reverse this? In fact, that's a story I would love to read. Who are his marketing people? Who did he work with? Because what a turnaround. It's been pretty remarkable to look at.
Todd, the ballots are now out for 2024 PGA Tour Player of the Year, barring something unforeseen. Scottie Scheffler should win it for the 3rd consecutive year. Going to put you on the spot. Make your case for someone other than Scottie in 2025.
I mean, that's impossible. I mean, what are you asking me to do here, Ryan? I mean, you could say Xander Schauffele, for goodness sakes. He did win 2 major championships in 2024. He did break that threshold. He has been, maybe outside of Scottie Scheffler, the most consistent player of the last couple of years on the global stage. But Scottie Scheffler is at another level. I mean, you talk to every player out there on the PGA Tour, and they will tell you, Scottie is playing at a level that they are not close to right now, and they understand it and they respect it, and that is why I would be surprised if it's not a unanimous vote that Scottie Scheffler is named the PGA Tour Player of the Year for 2024.
Well, Nelly Korda, the Player of the Year on the LPGA Tour. Shane Ryan with the big news of the day: Molly Marcoux stepping down as LPGA commissioner. What's your reaction? There's all these comparisons to Caitlin Clark and a desire for the LPGA to kind of meet this moment in women's sports. What was your big takeaway from the breaking news of the day?
So, on one hand, they may have had great reasons for, she may have had a great reason to leave. They may want somebody new in. This is not a commentary on that. This is a commentary on the talking point that they should have taken advantage of the Caitlin Clark moment. I want you to imagine, go back to LeBron James's rookie year. Everything, big deal. Everybody's watching more NBA. What if somebody said to Tim Fincham, why aren't more people watching the PGA Tour now? You got LeBron James. It doesn't make any sense. They are 2 different sports. They are different people. I will concede that in both a round ball goes into a cylinder. That's where they stop. So when people look at her and say, oh, you didn't take advantage of the Caitlin Clark moment. Caitlin Clark's not a golfer. I just think it is completely misguided to think that there's like this broader women's sports bubble where when one side is doing great, the other side has to too. I think that's a little bit unfair. Nelly Korda is not Caitlin Clark. You don't have a Caitlin Clark figure. So I just hope that, again, I don't know the machinations underneath this. I would think it would be very unfair to judge her saying, you had the Caitlin Clark bubble and you didn't do anything with it. I think that's a step too far.
Todd, on a similar point, PGA Tour Commissioner Jay Monahan has been under siege for the last couple of years. Now the LPGA is in flux and looking for a new commissioner. What should these 2 tours look for in terms of leadership over these next couple of years to get through these last couple of years of acrimony, and as it relates to the LPGA, potential growth opportunities? What do you want to see as a golf observer, as a golf fan out of these 2 tours?
Well, I'm very well, much more educated in the men's game of the PGA Tour than the LPGA Tour, but listening to all the guests that I heard come on the show in regards to the commissioner stepping down from the LPGA Tour, I think one thing that is sometimes missing in the game of golf to the membership is the fact that there isn't clear communication. And we obviously saw that with the framework agreement on the PGA Tour that just knocked everybody off their socks in the golf world, especially the players on the PGA Tour. And I feel like that there isn't as much communication between the leadership and the players. Now that sometimes is by design, and sometimes it's just because it's overlooked. So I think that's exactly what the players are looking for, and some input, of course, because they feel like it's their tour and they have every right to feel that way. I will go back to what Shane was saying. First off, I don't know if she said, hey, I just want to step away from being the LPGA commissioner. We'll let her say that, or if she feels like she was forced out. But from my perspective, I felt like the LPGA Tour was trending. You look at the money that they were playing for, it's nearly doubled since she came on board. I felt like, just like Brittany Lincecum said, if she had been given a little more time, then we may have seen the LPGA Tour in women's golf ride the coattails of Caitlin Clark, as we were talking about, in this progression in women's sports. But that's not the case. We'll see what happens. There are a lot of interesting names. I mentioned Heidi Uberoff, who is a powerful force in business, worked with the NBA globally to help grow that sport. If I'm the LPGA Tour, I would do everything I can to try to get Heidi Uberoff. She'd probably take a pay cut if she took the job, but she's a name that's somebody that is very impressive in golf, no doubt about it.
Strong name indeed. Just one more month to go until Molly Marcoux-Sama's tenure comes to an end. Thielu, Shane, we appreciate your time on this busy Monday. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Got it, guys.
And as we go to break, another reminder that Tiger Woods not playing this week, but speaking tomorrow, 9 a.m. Eastern time. We will carry his presser live right here on Golf Channel. Back in a bit.